Hello, and thank you for joining me to hear all about the Canadian Rockies and also beyond by rail. So we're going to be exploring a lot of Canada today. My name is Narelle, and I'll be, I guess, in the conductor's seat, you could say. Now, before we do get started, if you've got a pen and paper handy, please write down this number at the bottom, 1300 938 534. You can also download your free handouts and maps as well in that downloadable box there. It says handouts. If you do have any problems at all, please do let me know and we can look after you after this webinar. Throughout here as well, you may have some questions on some of the itineraries that I talk about, or just questions in general about Via Rail vacations. So as those questions come to mind, just pop them in that question box. I will see that the questions are coming through. I will answer all those questions at the end of the presentation. So why travellers love Railbookers? Now, a lot of you already do know who we are as you signed up through our direct marketing and emails with you. But the beautiful thing about Railbookers is we are local here in Australia. I've got a Sydney office, and therefore you can pay us in Australian dollars. You can book 24 months in advance, which is actually really key, especially if you're looking at any of these sleeper trains, because they sell out quick. So the fact that we can book 24 months in advance is a great advantage for you. And it's actually, we have access to those seats before they're even open to the public. With our flexible booking policy, I'm going to have a look at one of those at that slide very soon, but pretty much if the train goes there, so do we. So if you book with Railbookers, you can move your booking to a different country or a completely different itinerary under our flexible booking policy. Our average hold time is 3 seconds. So if you were to call up one of the consultants on 1300 938 534, you should generally get through in about 3 seconds time. So be ready for them to answer your call. We do also look after all your bucket list experiences. And with that, we can also offer the fantastic freedom and flexibility that all rail has to offer. So it's pretty much you tell us what experiences you want to do, and we can put that together for you because we are totally flexible. If the train goes there, so do we. It is by far the most scenic way to travel because we do city to city, and then also you've got the rolling countryside in between. And a place like Canada, there is definitely a lot to see there on the ground. And we also go on particular paths that no car has ever been as well. So it's very, very exclusive just to the rail travel. There's a lot of room to roam on board Via Rail, and actually any of the trains. You can get up when you want and however long for and stretch your legs, and even go into some of the viewing glass viewing domes into any of those kind of cars as well. So you can actually explore the train while exploring the countryside. So you can choose when to get up. You're not locked into your seatbelts. We have fully customizable itineraries, and it is important that I do point out right now that for us to customize an itinerary for you doesn't cost any extra. And we'll have a look about what customizing actually means. You will be given 24-hour support from our global office. So here I am in Sydney. We've also got London. We're in Beverly, Massachusetts, which is just outside of Boston. We have Toronto, Canada, and also Laguna Hills, which is just in the OC, just south of LAX. They're in California. So wherever you are traveling with us, you have got 24-hour support from our global offices if you need to reach anyone at all. With our maximum flexibility offer, we know that there's the goalposts are moving a little bit right now. The good thing is there will be a bit more freedom to travel. So if you had booked or are looking at booking a particular destination with us, and then you have a change of mind but decide to go to a completely different country, that comes under our maximum flexibility offer, and that you don't have to pay any extra for that. That's just our terms and conditions there. So I would definitely recommend that you do have a look at that. Call 1300 938 534, and one of our consultants can actually walk you through it. A few of you who have joined me today, I have noticed that you do have existing bookings, which you do apply, which therefore you do qualify there for the maximum flexibility offer. But also if you were to go ahead and make a booking in the near future, as long as you do it by the 31st of May, then that falls under that flexibility offer there as well. So we do take the mystery out of rail travel. This is just as an example, a map of Europe. And this is really for me to let you know that we have got those maps. We've got those maps, whether you're looking at Canada, Europe, whether you're looking at doing a few of the different countries. But we know our trains. Our systems can actually pull and piece together all of these rail networks, and we can actually have that nice seamless transition from one line to another, because not one of these coloured lines talk to each other. We have direct partnerships, so that is why we are Via Rail Vacations, we are Eurostar Vacations, we are Amtrak Vacations, we're Trenitalia Vacations. We are the vacation brand for those companies. So we have the direct rail partnerships, which means that we can put your itinerary together and book it 24 months ahead of time, whereas generally a lot of these seats are only open about 3 months prior. So it's a good time to start planning if you're looking at traveling 2021 or possibly even 2022. Railbookers offers confirmed seat reservations, another reason to get in early, whatever sightseeing you want to do. And if you've already been to a destination and don't want to repeat, you don't have to worry about doing that. So we can easily take that out. So we can customize this itinerary for you. From the hotels, you can choose between 3, 4 and 5-star hotels. Do you want to stay closer to the train station? Would you prefer to stay a little bit further away in maybe a really cool or different type of neighborhood? We can do that for you. We can also connect you with all the ferry services, which in a lot of places is actually rather important. We've got the excursions and definitely those overnight rail journeys. We're going to have a little look at a few of those overnight journeys and the importance of actually starting to piece this together and just at least seek availability so far. So pretty much we can book anything from 2 days to 2 years ahead of time. We know because we go. Everyone here in this image, in these photos, works for Railbookers. So we experience the trains themselves. We don't just experience the trains and the facilities and what the check-in process is like, where the luggage can be stored, how much you can take on. We also go and look at all the hotels, the popular hotels, find fantastic restaurants to then recommend to any of our clients. So we do go out, we experience it. It's really the only way that we can actually really put together some of these customized itineraries for you. So we've all been to these destinations and our knowledge is, well, we're rail geeks, I guess is the best way to look at it. Oh, Canada. Alrighty, so Canada by Train made easy. So we can piece all of this together for you. Now, some of these systems don't necessarily talk to each other, but we can have everything all in sync. We can recommend the hotels that are suitable for you, any of those optional excursions. If you'd like to stay extra days, shave off a couple of days, that is the, we can make your rail through Canada super duper easy. A very common question right now is how is Via Rail maintaining a safe environment? Because some of those trains are still running. It's not like we're, unfortunately, like a cruise who's had to really just stop their operation altogether. The trains are running, so the tracks are still warm. So they've had to put in a lot of these social distancing measures and everything for the safety and well-being of not only our customers, but also our staff that will be servicing you on board as well. So when is the best time to travel through Canada? Well, honestly, that is up to you. What do you want to see? Here's something. Via Rail runs year-round. Pretty much June through to September are the most popular times to travel. The Canadian Rockies best season for flora and fauna is August and also September. So that's when the wildlife and the plant life are most active. Now the Rockies are also beautiful and less travelled during the winter. and that offers serenity and beautiful snowy views. So it really depends what experience you're looking for. I lived in Canada for quite a number of years, and I absolutely loved the summers. They've got such beautiful weather in the summer, but the winters are so magical as well. So it really just depends on the overall experience that you are looking to get. If you've been to Canada through one season, try it in a different season. So there's a lot of different reasons to travel Canada by train. Now, we offer some of the most scenic views in all of North America. So this is Canada's excellent long distance train network, and it is a great way to experience all the best of this incredible country, from the pristine beauty of the Rockies to the dynamic big cities of, let's say, Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, Quebec, beautiful places there. Via Rail actually operates 494 trains per week in 8 of the Canadian provinces over a network of 7,800 miles of track. So whether you travel on Via Rail's classic transcontinental train, the Canadian, from Toronto to Winnipeg, Edmonton, Jasper and Vancouver, the intercity trains between Toronto and Montreal, Quebec, or even the ocean train that is from Montreal to Halifax, you'll experience fresh, chef-prepared meals, comfortable seating, relaxing, fantastic amenities, and the biggest thing, spectacular views throughout. So it's not just about the destination, it's definitely about that onboard experience. You can combine urban escapes with outdoor getaways. It's a green way to travel, and the train will take you where cars can't. So for the perfect blend of pristine beauty, adventure, and even European influence, this 9-day rail holiday to Eastern Canada is truly worth looking into. If you haven't been out to this side of Canada before, I highly recommend it. So this region showcases chic cities, spectacular landscapes, and also scenery, and the unique experiences that change with the seasons. So your first stop, let's say, is Niagara Falls. And then from there, you can continue on to Montreal, Quebec City, and these are century-old. This is your European influential side of Canada. Your last stop is Halifax, Nova Scotia, and that's your real marine maritime area. So that's got thriving arts, culinary scene. If you like your seafood, this is the place to go. And also culture that everyone can absolutely enjoy. Halifax, Quebec City, Montreal, Niagara Falls, out of Toronto are some of the biggest highlights on this East Coast journey, as well as you can easily do a stopover in Ottawa if you'd like to go visit the capital. So when I just mentioned Ottawa then, we can get you to Ottawa as well, but I haven't got that in this itinerary that I was just showing you. So that's how we can customize your rail journey. If you'd like to add in Ottawa to that itinerary, we can do that. If you want to shave off a day or two in another destination, we can do that. If you want to add extra nights, we can do that. That's what customizing your rail holiday is. It's your trip, so you tell us what you would like to do, how long you are traveling for, and we can piece all of that together for you to review before going ahead and making that booking. So the next itinerary that we're going to look at is your Vancouver over to Toronto. You'll see there it's spent 4 nights on Via Rail. Now this is your overnight rail journeys. You can enjoy the best of Canada on the Canadian rail experience, which goes from Vancouver to Toronto. You can capture all of the culture and excitement of gorgeous Vancouver, such a fun-loving city, and it has a very user-friendly hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour, so you don't miss any of those city sites. You can also do an extra day, add on to Vancouver, and go out to Victoria or Vancouver Island, and you can catch the ferry out there. Highly recommended. We'll see a picture of that soon. Then you can catch that train cross country, and that's 4 nights on the train. So this is your real overnight experience. You can soak in the pure beauty and majestic sights, the many plains and mountains, lakes, glaciers, everything else that you will see there. Hopefully a bit of wildlife might make an appearance as you're going through that fantastic Canadian countryside. When you get to Toronto, you can experience all that fantastic city has to offer with a sightseeing tour that includes all of the best attractions. And Toronto is such a fabulous place to definitely do that city sights tour, and then it's an easy way to navigate yourself around. There's a subway, there's streetcars, and there's also a bus system, and all those tickets are transferable. So it's a good way to get familiar with that city and then go back to some of those areas that piqued your interest. So the Canadian Rail experience is just full of pretty much the majestic sights that you, and I know for sure your camera out of those huge panoramic windows, will not want to miss. So there's the 2 cities there. Absolutely fantastic. So for our next itinerary, you can experience that gorgeous scenery and breathtaking landscapes of the Canadian Rockies. This is a major draw card to Canada. And this is a rail journey that goes from Vancouver to Calgary, also known for the Calgary Stampede. You can see the amazing views of Vancouver from hundreds of feet above the ground at the Vancouver Lookout. You can stroll down the charming cobblestone streets of Victoria and enjoy afternoon tea at the Fairmont Empress Hotel. You can also get up close and personal with massive glaciers during an interactive ride on the Ice Explorer. You can also see the spectacular national treasures of Jasper, relax in the historical Fairmont Chateau Lake Louise, and discover then all that Calgary has to offer. There's a lot of cowboy themes out there in Calgary. It's a real hoot. When you're looking at these Fairmont hotels, so there's 2 of them there. There's actually so many, there's quite a number of Fairmont hotels that are within Canada. They were built along the train lines. So all the way from Victoria, the Fairmont, there's 3 in Vancouver. You've got some that are more historical than some of the more modern ones. You've got the beautiful Lake Louise, you've got the one in Banff Springs, then you've got the Toronto, and then up to Montreal. There's some in Quebec City, then Montreal. So the Fairmont hotels are a chain that goes all across Canada. And even if you just wander on in and have a look at their foyers and lobbies there, they're so unique and rich in history. This epic rail journey traveling east across fantastic Canada is your holiday will begin in Vancouver, and that is also, believe it or not, known as the Hollywood of the North. You can spend 2 days discovering the city before journeying east on that scenic overnight train ride into the Canadian Rockies, and the incredible mountain views of Jasper and Banff for a true Canadian alpine experience. So this is a coast to coast, and this is a very popular itinerary out of Australia. So we start off doing the Rockies. You spend 3 nights on board Via Rail, and then you find yourself in fantastic Toronto, heading on down to Niagara Falls, and then heading on up to Montreal, Quebec, and then also Halifax there. And here are just some of the experiences that we will be looking at. So we've got the grand circle here of the Canadian Rockies, and that's because if you go one way, well, we kind of sometimes have to get back as well. So this little loop takes you on a different train track. It's not just going on the same way, but in reverse. So that's pretty special there as well. So you can discover the wonders of the Canadian Rockies on this grand rail journey with the Rocky Mountaineer and Via Rail. You can travel through the Canadian Rockies and the long Fraser River and Canyon to places no cars have gone. You can spend time exploring the iconic Emerald Lakes and beautiful waterfalls in the heart of the Canadian Rockies. You can travel to the mountainside of Banff, picturesque Lake Louise, and also along those icewood parkways to the charming town of Jasper. Love it, and the wildlife that can come and greet you in the streets of Jasper. Now, when we think of Canada, a lot of people will straight away think Rocky Mountaineer. Now, these are very good partners of ours. We can book you on that Rocky Mountaineer in whichever service you would like. The Rocky Mountaineer is a bucket list train journey, and it's definitely one for someone with the higher end of the budget. So you can see the Canadians by way of luxury on board this Rocky Mountaineer. You travel through the day, and there's also an overnight stop in Kamloops, and that is included in the Rocky Mountaineer fare. So it transfers to and from the Kamloops Hotel. So that's all included. Now, the double deck car is the Gold Leaf service, and the single level are the Silver Leaf. So the difference between a Via Rail and a Rocky Mountaineer is you don't spend any nights sleeping on board the train on a Rocky Mountaineer, but on Via Rail, you can spend a night. So the Gold Leaf is the premium option. Gold Leaf passengers travel in the modern double-deck car domes. So upstairs, there is under a glass roof, there are 72 reclining seats with loads of legroom and drop-down tables. Downstairs is reached by a spiral staircase, and there's also a lift there for any wheelchair bound or anyone else who might need assistance in a lift there. There are also toilets, kitchens, a 36-seat restaurant for breakfast and lunch, and a small open air viewing platform for fresh air and reflection on, just free for all photography out of there for sure. Now, your breakfast and lunch are served downstairs in the restaurant in 2 sittings. Included in the fare, there's a choice of excellent main courses, freshly prepared in the kitchen and served on real china. Lunch comes complete with Rocky Mountaineer's own label British Columbian red or white wine. And there's also live commentary from the car for attendants all along the way. So pointing out those points of interest, they can also point out anything that they see happening in real time. It's not a pre-recorded commentary there. The Silverleaf passengers, so if you choose to travel in Silverleaf, you can travel in a single deck car dome with huge panoramic windows. So this includes breakfast and lunch with also complimentary beer or wine or non-alcoholic drinks. Meals, however, are served at your seat. There's still plenty of room. So not just with the whole Rocky Mountaineer, which I'm sure would be an absolutely superior product to really experience, but why take the train? Well, I don't think I need to say much more than the image that we're seeing here. I just think the fact that there's room to roam, you can get up, go to the bathroom whenever you need to, you can explore, you can see so much out of the wide panoramic windows, you can go to the cafe cart when you want, at your leisure, and you can also mingle with a lot of other guests. Now, onboard Via Rail, so the main train that we looked at is the Canadian. That runs between Vancouver and Toronto. The complete journey can take 4 days. However, it is broken up with a stop in the Canadian Rockies in Jasper, for example. So from there, we can easily arrange for you to visit Banff and also iconic Lake Louise. We can really maximise your time without making you feel as though you're always in a hurry, because this train does their regular departures and they know what people want to do. Now, when we're looking at the different classes on board Via Rail, so the first one is economy. So this is generally for those passengers that are looking more at the budget side of things. Economy isn't as popular for the 4-night overnight rail journey, of course. You can just pay a little upgrade there to actually get a bed. So, but what you do get in an economy class is you get complimentary access to the dome car. Food is available for you to purchase from a takeout stand located in the dome car. So it's things like muffins, sandwiches, sodas, beer, wines, chips, your basic amenities there as well. And also, depending on availability, you may be able to access the dining car and purchase hot meals prepared by onboard chefs, but that just depends if the other classes are fully booked. So we're finding that a lot of people will actually explore the option of a berth. This is your entry level into a sleeper. So there is privacy at night with a heavy curtain, and that encloses the sleeping area, separating the upper and the lower berth. So there's an upper and a lower berth here. You also get freshly prepared meals in the dining car, which are also included in the fare, as is access to several dome cars. Restrooms are also at the end of the sleeping car, so it's not too far away, it's only a couple of steps away. These seats, these are beds by night and they transfer to seats by day. Cabins for one is also a really good option for you. So it's a love seat by day with that large window so you can enjoy the passing scenery as seen in that picture right there. There is also a sink and running hot and cold drinking water, as well as access to the shower down the hall. We're finding that not many people use a lot of those facilities. They just like to get up, walk out of their cabins and walk down to the hall anyway, but that is there for you to use and it's your own. The entire space turns into a bed at night, which is very similar to the berths that we looked at. And you can also have freshly prepared meals in the dining car, and they're included in the fare. You can also get a cabin for one and a cabin for two. So that's how the cabin for two there looks as well. Drum roll, hello, prestige class. Well, this looks comfortable. So this is the prestige class. This is the most superior product on board the V-Rail. And you can see here that it's a very comfortable and spacious bed there. So that's your most superior product there, is the prestige class. Now there are attendants that come and transform your seating into bedding. So when you're possibly off at the dining car having a meal, then that's when they might transform your bed, or whatever time it has been arranged for. Something about the Canadians, and I learned this when I lived there, is they're really into their seasonal produce. And I think it's something that we should all do. They just love supporting local and they eat seasonally. So no matter what time of year you travel, you're going to have freshly prepared, locally sourced produce by the chefs. And I think this is a classic example here as to how divine their culinary experience can be. So what are you most interested in experiencing? There is so much out there in Canada. It's hard to do it all in one hit, but we can with V-Rail, because we maximise the time in each of the destination. You can save time by sleeping on board the train overnight to get you to that next destination as well. So it really is a unique and fantastic way to travel. So whether it be a bucket list experience, whether you're looking at that freedom and flexibility to do what you want when you want, whether you're in it for the scenery, whether you just like to stretch whilst traveling, all of your itineraries are fully customizable. We do have that maximum flexibility offer as well, where we can change your travel plans up to 5 days prior without incurring any change or cancellation fees. And so you can change the destination once you've booked it, should you choose to. We do have a lot of awards and recognitions. We are the #1 rail FIT provider around the world, so we can piece together absolutely anything for you. Alaska is actually very popular, so but please have a look at railbookers.com.au and see what other destinations you might also want to combine if you were to go to Canada. You might choose to head on down to the US national parks on Amtrak, or head on over there to Alaska. So there's a lot that we can do with discovering the internal country and really having a look at what this fabulous world has to offer. We do have some e-brochures available as well, so we can also get those off to you. There's the V-Rail Vacations, There's the Railbookers, which is pretty much anywhere else in the world. And we've also got a separate one for our friends south of Canada, America. And don't forget to download those free handouts and maps. Now, that little question box, I can see questions popping up through this presentation. So let me go ahead and start to answer some of these. And if any more questions do come through, then I will be more than happy to answer them. And if we do run out of time, we will be calling you and answer that separately. So how secure is the hand luggage in the berth travel? Look, it is very secure. You're traveling with like-minded people. You should not have any problems there. I would always still carry my personal belongings with me. Look, I would actually recommend, just to give yourself a little bit more space, check your suitcase in and carry on possibly an overnight bag for what you will need in some of those overnighters. I've got another question here about the itineraries, and do they need to start in Vancouver and end in Toronto, or can you go the other way around? No, look, absolutely. You can go from one end, you could go from Vancouver over to Toronto, or if you flew into Toronto and you want to start your journey there, then you can do that in reverse. Remember, if the train goes there, so do we, and we are then also able, well, the train has to get back somehow, doesn't it? So you let us know where your starting point, ideal starting point is, and where your destination is, because air might drive a little bit of that as well. I've also had a question here about, let me see this. Oh, just to tell you a little bit about the Glacier Skywalk. Absolutely. So the Glacier Skywalk is actually a cliff edge walkway where giant glaciers, they pretty much perch above you, and the spectacular Sunwakta Valley, I think I pronounced that right, spreads out below. So the Icefield Skywalk experience will feature things like waterfalls, wildlife, fossils, and more on an exciting 1 kilometre walkway that leads to a glass platform. So the walk is also presented in interpretive storytelling format that will connect you with the natural world in a deep and meaningful way, which is actually a fabulous experience. So I hope I answered your question there on the Glacier Skywalk. We've also got the Icefields Parkway too, where you go out, you see all the 100 ancient glaciers, cascading waterfalls, dramatic rock spires. This is the photos you will get from just those kind of experiences are definitely brag worthy. All right, I've also got another question of how frequent are stops in the fortnight? Okay, so the train doesn't go through every single day if you were to go from coast to coast. So look, this could be determined by the timetable, and also by the seasonality of traveling. So you're looking at every couple of days pretty much. So it's not as if you can, let's say, get off in Winnipeg, stretch your legs for a bit, have a little walk around and think you can catch the next train. You'll be waiting a couple of days for that. All right, well, look, thank you so much, everybody, for joining me this afternoon to hear all wonderful things about Canada. It's a fabulous destination, and when you're ready to go there, so are we. We're ready to piece this together for you. You can start to explore prices now if you like, or you can still just start to get your bucket list together. It's up to you. There's plenty of time for this planning stage right now, and when you're ready, we're ready. I'd like to thank you all so much for joining me, and I very much appreciate your time. And if we haven't answered everything for you, please do feel free to give us a call, 1300 938 534. We'll be more than happy to answer anything, but also you may hear from some of our consultants directly as well. Thank you, have a good evening, and see you in Canada, eh?